Hey, what's up, guys? Quick update here with Bitcoin. It's looking a little bit doji-ish, right? So we got these dojis coming up here. We're right back at resistance. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a correction. Something I was talking about yesterday, potentially coming back and retesting 60K or 60.5K. So there's a couple ideas. We'll jump into it. So let's zoom in here and see if we can see anything that's going on. So right off the bat, let me zoom in a little bit more. Yesterday we were talking about this this wave here, and we can see obviously we had this three-wave move and we came up, we hit the high. So I'm going to jump into that in a second, but what we have so far is a 1-2. We have another 1-2, or I would say 1 2 3 4 5. So that would be wave 1. We have an ABC pullback, that's wave 2, and it appears that we have possibly 5 waves. So we have 1, 2, and then we have 3, and then remember we had this 3-wave pullback for wave 4. So 1 2 3 4, and then we came up, and maybe that was wave 5. So that's idea number 1, right? Is the fact that we have this 1 2 3 3 waves up, or it's not an impulse until we actually expand, or until we actually get 5 waves. So this could also be an A, a B, and a C, right? So we have 5 up, we have 3 down, and we have 5 back up, which means if that's the case, then we should be going back down, at least back down to that 50% area, right? So if you take this whole wave here and you take this whole wave here, right, and you cut it in half, that's usually where it goes down to and finds support. What we don't want to see though is going back below 57. We don't really want to break below this B wave, or then it opens the door for the other count, which is some kind of WXY or ABC. So we have 3 up. If this is 3 back down, then we would see 5 up or 3 up. So it would be a bigger sort of correction like that, right? And we still need this move down. So that's still on the table until we can break this high. The most important thing Bitcoin needs to do is make a higher high, and it hasn't done that yet. So you can see, right, we got a high, a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and lower high. So if we could just break one of these and officially get a higher high, it's really gonna hopefully give us some more positive momentum to the upside. Because right now, I mean, there's obviously only 2 ideas that we got, right? Which is, this is a 1 2 3 4 and 5, flagging out for wave 2, flagging out for wave 4, about to get wave 5. Maybe we go sideways a little bit more, maybe we come down, we hit the low, but whatever the case may be, it's finding itself, it's consolidating in this range, eventually get that 5th wave. So that's idea number 1. And that's the idea I believe will play out. Now I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, then obviously we'll be prepared for that. So if these lows get broken, we come down and we come back up, it could still be a 4th wave, right? But if we come back up and we get rejected here, and then we start going down again, this is going to be reaccumulation. We're going to be going sideways like this, and it's going to be grueling. It's going to be painful, but when we get out of there, it's going to be quite interesting. So that's the two ideas that we have. So it's really expansion to the upside or reaccumulation and then expansion, right? So we have to wait. We have to find out. So hopefully we can get this moving here pretty soon. So I gave an idea on the small time frame, right? So when we zoom in, we can see, right, we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 5-wave move, right? So, and we built a little range here. We came up, we grabbed that liquidity, and now we're coming back down, right? Maybe for an ABC. So that's the idea, more of the bearish idea, meaning that this wave is finished. Now, if the wave is not finished, which hopefully it's not, but if we look closely, let me bump that up to the 4-hour. I'll draw a little range here. So you can see we made this high, and then we had this ABC pullback, right? And what we did is we came up, we broke out, and we broke all of this resistance in here. And then what did we do? We came all the way back down. Now we're back testing it. So this could be a breakout and a back test with more continuation, which I would actually like to see, because I want to see a better, more clear 5-wave move. So if we can get something like that, like a 1, 2, right? And then we have sort of, all of this is 3, and then we have this sort of running flat here for wave 4, and then we get wave 5. So that's idea number 2, right? Basically breaking out, we back testing this area, and then we're going to continue higher. Which one do I think? Well, it's a little bit challenging right now because we're holding nicely here. Usually, when you come up and spike the high, you come down pretty quick. We did, but we're sort of consolidating. We've been going sideways for 4, 8, 12, right? So, going on almost, 16 hours, going sideways, building a base on this range. So we'll see if we can hold support. So if I zoom in a little bit more, I'll just put a line right there. You can see we're sort of back testing in there, right? So yeah, I think if we can hold support here, I would see some higher momentum. So one of the things that could happen on the smaller time frame is that we start making, we build a base right here, we start making our way back up here. But then what's the problem? We go into the retracement levels. Remember, we have point A, point B, and then usually it goes to point C, and that's where it decides up or down, right? So we could fall from here, but it's probably not as likely since we've been going sideways for a little bit. So it'd be more likely to get a push up, and then that opens up a short where we come back down. And if we come back down and we break this and we come up and we retest it as resistance, then it's going to look like, okay, the wave is probably done, which means what? We're in distribution on this smaller time frame, which means what? Which means we need to look for some kind of correction, like something like maybe like this right in here. So if I take that right there, maybe something like that, where we have this A, B, C, and then maybe we continue up into that that higher wave here. So I mean, right now it looks a little choppy in here. It's not super impulsive, but that's what you would expect as you're working your way through the resistances and the retracement levels. So I really want to, the big goal for Bitcoin is to break above 64.5K, right? So between 63.5 and 64.5K. So basically breaking above this swing high. If we can break above it and then flip it as support, we'd be in business. So if we look at the bull market support band, we're actually hovering right above it. But the problem is we really need to break through it. You know what I mean? We need to break through it and then sort of flag out. Because anytime you it's like you're underwater here. It's like you fell. You're on an ice sheet in Alaska and you're walking through the ice and you fall through, and then the current pushes you and you're trying to push your head above the water, and then you finally find a hole and you pop your head up, and then like, oh, I'm saved, and then the current pushes you again and you go back under, and then it pushes you down. So think of this like the ice, right? And you're trying to you're trying to save yourself, right? So poking your head up doesn't do the trick. We actually need to stand up, right? So I think, there's a few examples. I'm not going to try to find them, but I mean, you could just look at this one here. Actually, let me go to the a smaller time frame here, and if you look right here, this is what I want to see. This is what we want to see. So we had a beautiful three-way pullback, right? Well, first of all, what did we had a 1 2 1 2. This is very bullish, right? And then we broke out, and then we came all the way down, had a three-way pullback, and essentially back tested that area. We didn't quite tag the bull market support band, but we were right in that area, and we were holding support, and then we continued higher. So we want to see something like this, where we break out, kind of consolidate in here, and continue, right? So if you look closely at the current time frame, I mean, that could be a potential here of what we're doing. So, or this could be another sort of 1 2 1 2, right? Where you have this 1, you have this ABC for 2, but you kind of need 5 waves. Now, you can look at this whole wave as one wave as well. So you can say that this is 1 2 3 4, and then we have 1 2 3 4, and then 5, right? So this whole wave is another wave 1. So this is another wave 1. So what do you need? ABC pullback, wave 2, right? And then it sort of gives you that sort of trend line tag right around here, right? So if you look at it, look at the shape of it, kind of like M shape like this, boom, boom, and then go. So 1 2 1 2 go, and that would correlate with what the hell happened down here, right? Remember that? So we had something similar. We actually broke that trend. So, but you can see the M shape, right? You have the 1 2 1 2. That sort of, it's like the McDonald's logo going downhill, or actually going uphill. Breakout, back test, go. So, so if I take a little bit of a bars pattern, you can kind of see maybe we get something like this, right? And this is sort of the kickoff, basically a 1 2 1 2. That's the setup we want to see, right? That's the setup we want to see when you want an extended fifth wave, when you want a powerful fifth wave. Because if you look at this right here, I mean, look how I'd have to even zoom out for us to gauge it because it's so big. But if you can see, right, you have this 1 2 1 2, and that's what kicks off this monster wave to the upside. Or you can have something like this where you just have one wave and then you break out. But we need that conviction, that breakout. But right now it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like it's having conviction. It looks like it's still in that 1 2 corrective structure. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here is we get maybe something like this, where we get a 1 2 1 2, we break out here of this area, right? Come down and back test it, but probably we would flag out in here. We would be flagging out in here and then get that bigger push to the upside. Actually, that would be a 1 2 1 2 1 2, right? If we got something like that. So you know, if you look here, usually when you get 1 2 1 2s, a lot of times you don't have to flag out because you've already consolidated a lot. So you would have these sort of bottlenecking type of behavior, where we could see something kind of like that, right? Where you kind of go up and then you kind of just trend sideways a little bit and then continue up with the wave. So it's probably not going to look like that, but it kind of gives you a rough idea of how it could be. So that's something we can look for here. So if I just move this a little bit out of the way, and we had, you know, maybe another hit to the high and then an ABC pullback, or just get the ABC pullback now, basically kind of, you know, flag out in here a little bit, holding support down in here, right? Just like how it held support down in here, and then get the hell out of there, right? And then continue. So we could be, I mean, we've been going up since, what is that there? September 6th, I believe, right? So today's what, the 22nd or 23rd? So yeah, we've been going up about, you know, a little, maybe almost 2.5 weeks, right? So at some point we're gonna get some type of ABC, right? So the trick is, you know, looking for divergences, right? We got bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart. We got 5 waves here. We're right at resistance. I mean, I'm thinking we're getting a correction soon. Now, I could be wrong. We could have another breakout, and if we do, I will be pleasantly surprised. I'll be more than happy to be wrong about that. But yeah, I mean, or, you know, we could just go sideways here and we can sort of just consolidate. But the point is, you know, over the next, I would say, month or so, we're going to get an indication, right? Because if this thing corrects to the downside, do we hold in here, or do we have to break below, right? Because this is sort of our, you know, this 57K area is sort of our last line in the sand. If we fall below that again, it ain't gonna look good. Now we could still be 3 up, 3 down, and then up later. We grab that liquidity under here, right? We could still get something like that. But the thing is, we would come up and we would break above it. But if we came up and we got rejected here, and then we came down, that's going to be sort of that inflection point, right? So it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time. So we just have to wait and see, right? But what gives me a lot of optimism is when I look at, for example, the altcoins. Now look at total 3. It's looking a lot better, right? I mean, you're literally right at the top here. So, I mean, this thing can get another push to the upside. Bitcoin right now is a little bit more of a difficult read at the moment. And then, by the way, this doesn't look like 5 to me. It looks like a 3-wave move. It looks like a 3-wave move. So we want to see how this progresses. All right. So speaking of the altcoins, you know, when you look at the others chart, right, sort of like the top 10, or all the altcoins except the top 10, right? So all the basically all the altcoins. We're flagging out. I mean, that's the bullish thing we got to look at, right? Anytime you're flagging out, anytime you break above this, you know, we had a big bear market. We had this bear market structure. we created a base, we broke out of the base, and now we're coming back to back test it in a corrective form. We're not, look at this. This is a crash. Like, you can see we're crashing. This is a crash too, but it's in a corrective form, right? It's not free falling, it's overlapping, and that's what we want. We want overlapping structures. And also, right, you can see this downward resistance line is really going to be the key. Now, we know Theta already broke it. A few coins already did, but we're going to really need more than that to really give us the confidence in this, because markets work in phases, right? Obviously, you have, if you look at the last cycle, you have the bull phase, you have the bear phase, you have the retracement, and then you go sideways into reaccumulation. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You really got 5 phases, right? And then you blast off, right? So we could be sort of right in here, right? How we're same kind of thing. We have a bull market, a bear market, a retracement. Now we're going into reaccumulation. What could be next? We could be building a base in here, maybe going sideways for a little while, maybe oscillating in here. You guys already know my main idea, which is oscillating in here a little bit more, breaking out, and then flagging out. Right? Let's see where the bull market support band is. Okay, yeah, we're right above it, or right below it. So as we come down, maybe we correct a little bit, like I was saying earlier. Then we break out, we back test, we get sort of in the retracement levels, and then we can, we continue higher. So we have the sell side of the curve, the bottom, and then we have the buy side of the curve. So that's kind of what we want to see. So let's look at a few coins here. Now, when I look at Link, same kind of thing, right? We built a base, we broke out, we flagged out, we're back testing it in here, we're holding support, right? So as long as we're sort of in this range, we have to look at it like this, right? Something like that. And that's my intuition. That's my thinking. So we'll see how that plays out with Link. I'm just gonna kind of go quick in here. H bar, right? Look at H bar, guys. This is bullish. Look at this. Remember the Bitcoin fractal we were just looking at, right? Right here. Remember? So we had the 1, 2, 1, 2. It's kind of like that slanted M shape. That's what you want to see on bottoms, right? Which will create a huge wave. So when we look at H bar, I mean, you can see it pretty clearly, right? What do you have? And same thing with Filecoin as well. You have a 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So you got a 1, 2, 1, 2 here, right? So I mean, we're at the bottom. I mean, this is the bottom of support. So this is where people are buying, right? This is where people are taking risk and accumulating. And then from there, we want to see a nice third wave up to the upside, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2. We got a monster wave 3. So yeah, it looks really good, right? I mean, look at gold. Gold is still pumping, guys. It's, all-time high for gold. Not bad at all. Gala, I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of skim through some of these coins here. Same thing with kind of like Phantom. You got that 1, 2, 1, 2 shape going on. 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Phantom came up here. Maybe we flag out a little bit and then get going for that third wave. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Doesn't mean today, doesn't mean tomorrow. It doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. It could take time. We could hit the low again. I mean, this is the macro look of it. Flare, I got the airdrop for Flare, and I just been holding it, right? I thought I was gonna make some good money. I was like, oh man, where it's a 1-for-1 and it's already at $1.30, but then it tanks down to like 1 penny. But it's a long-term thing, right? Because everybody sold their coins. So you got a 1, 2. I want to see a 3, 4, and 5, or a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then another 3. So I'm looking for at least a retracement for a lot of these coins. Now here's Filecoin, same kind of deal here. We had a 1, 2, 1, 2, right there, holding that trend line. Maybe we build a little bit of a base, kind of like we did right here, and then continue with the momentum. So if I take kind of like a little bit of a bars pattern, just to play around in here a little bit, move it over, extend it, make it a little bit bigger, maybe something like that. So you can kind of see it, right? Which would mean, we go sideways until the end of the year and then break out afterwards. Maybe the market's waiting for confirmation of who's going to be president. That's probably what's happening here. But remember, when we get into October, November, December, those are usually the bullish months for crypto, right? So the Q4 for crypto is usually bullish. So, it's a seasonality thing. So summer is over. We're officially in fall. So we should see some support holding here, some base getting formed, and then ultimately going higher. Fetch. Look at Fetch. It had a monster wave 1, 2, had a wave 3. Look at this down here. Guys, look at this. Just look at it. This is the same exact thing that's happening right now on a lot of altcoins, but what's really cool is that you can look at a smaller time frame and see the differences in fractals. Look what we got here. This is the theme of today's video. 1, 2, 1, 2. Look at this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Technically it's not a 1, 2, 1, 2 because the wick broke the low, but it still has that shape. It's got that bottoming M sort of shape, right? Where we have this sort of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6 rolls back into wave 4 of this wave here. Then it rolls down and has wave 7. It pumps to the upside, and then it flags out, and then it breaks out. That's how it works. That's the human behavior, the psychology of how it works, right? So when we go back to something like Filecoin and we look at it from, it's basically the same thing, just a bigger sort of move that we should be expecting, a bigger structure, right? So it's looking mighty interesting. So when we go to Ethereum, right, you can kind of see it started off as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And another 1, 2 here. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, another 1, 2. We back tested in here, right? So we built this base in here. We broke out. We had an ABC. We're back testing, and now we're starting to pump. Ethereum's actually looking pretty good. It's decent right now, but I would expect a little bit of a pause coming soon. So when we look at ETH BTC, I think the bottom is very close, because if we drag these lines out, you can see we're right in the back test zone, right? So ETH, this could be gearing up for an alt season, which I've been thinking for a while now. We should be getting one, but it's going to take a Bitcoin expansion for it to happen. So let's keep rolling here. Not really interesting. I mean, you got a crashing structure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and almost basically 7. The DXY looking okay. I want to see more downside. Looks like an A. And then maybe this could be a B, or this could be a B. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So maybe like an ABC, right? Which would be very good for crypto. And maybe we could back test this downward trend line here. Let's look at DOT. So DOT right back at support, right? I mean, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, we have enough waves to the downside, right? We have enough of them to sort of get a retracement, right? We bounce, we're going down, 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 down ever since March, right? So we've been going down like what, 6 months. So enough time has elapsed, enough price action has elapsed to at least get a retracement. Come back, cut this wave in half, 50%. Let's get a retracement. Right around that $7 area for DOT. Doggy coin. Now look at doggy coin. Look at this. I mean, do you see it? You see it? Look at that. 1, 2, 1, 2. We got a powerful 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? We broke this area. We came down. We're back testing it. Play around a little bit. At least get another retracement. And then from there, it looks like it wants to continue breaking higher. Now, it could get into the retracement levels and then come back down, go into reaccumulation. But we'll get into that later, right? As the time is appropriate. But for now, I mean, this is what we see, right? So like, for example, when I look at Bitcoin, again, let me just show you the example here. Look how it started off, right? We had this sort of crash, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then look how it started off. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it continued higher. So if we were to overlay this with the altcoins, where are we? We're right here. That's where we're at with most of these altcoins. Filecoin, I mean, a lot of them. We're right in here. So if that's the case, then we should see some upside, right? But if we start breaking lower, and we'll just have to do that on an individual basis. But for now, let's just keep skimming across here. So the Dow Jones, I'm just looking at whatever I see here. I mean, look at that. I mean, you got these dojis looking a little bit. For that, I gotta zoom out to like the weekly chart. I mean, it's still, I mean, you got new all-time highs for the Dow Jones. I mean, it's unstoppable, right? And if you listen to sort of the Gregory Mannarino theory of the Federal Reserve and the central banks and the sort of the game plan of what they're trying to do, the Fed is trying to buy it all, right? How do you become more powerful? You got to own more stuff. How do you own more? You print more money and you use it to buy things up, right? So that's exactly what they're doing. They're buying stocks. They're propping up the market. It's all artificial, right? So with that being said, listen to this. I'm going to show you a clip. Listen to this.
I believe that will all work out very well for everybody. China, Japan, the United States, and everybody in the region. As far as the currency devaluations, I've been complaining about that for a long time. And I believe that we will all eventually, and probably very much sooner than a lot of people understand or think, we will be all on a level playing field. Because that's the only way it's fair. That's the only way that you can fairly compete in trade and other things. And we will be on that field, and we will all be working very hard to do great for our country. I believe that we will be all on a level playing field.
So listen to that. He talked about currency devaluation. He talked about level playing field. So how does that happen? How do you get all the countries to be on a level playing field with their currencies? Because when you're trading with another country, like if you're, trading whatever, it's valued in their currency. But if their currency is being devalued, so things don't really match up, right? So everything has to be level. How do you do that? Crypto. There's no other way. There's no other way. Crypto. It's got to be back. I mean, countries either got to back their stuff with gold, or they got to go on the blockchain and be crypto related, right? So we can have, like, for example, what is he building? He's building a DeFi platform. Why is he doing that? Because he knows it's going to be needed as we transition away from the old clunky, slow, corrupt banking traditional system into a new, more decentralized, quick, fast, right? Reducing the friction within the banking system. So it's all sort of coming together, right? And I don't think he wanted to pull the trigger back when he was president, back when he said this. But I think now the time is correct. The time is right. So hopefully he wins. I believe he will, and we can see a crypto sort of revolutional takeover, right? Because we think crypto is mainstream now, but I don't think we've seen anything yet, really. Especially when you have governments, countries, and corporations getting involved. Now that's where the big money comes from, right? And all that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. But regulations are going to be a key thing about it too. So very, very interesting times we live in. So if we play our cards right, we can capitalize on it like never before. And then your kids and grandkids and great grandkids will look back and thank you very much for positioning your family for generations to come, right? They call it generational wealth. And I think that's very possible. So maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but that's what I believe. So anyway, we can see a big thing happening right now on BNB. Look at BNB. We have a new swing high. Look at that. BNB has officially, and I don't care about BNB at all. I don't hold BNB. I don't care if it lives or dies. I mean, maybe some people do, but BNB is breaking out. This is a very, very good thing. Let me look at the daily here. There we go. Yeah, so we got 3 hours left until the daily candle closes, and we're going to get, hopefully, a new swing high close, right? Which is going to be a good thing. So that's good. I'm very happy to see that. AVAX is looking okay, right? You can see, we got a little bit of resistance here. Some dojis popping up here, right in the bull market support band. But if you look, AVAX as well as THETA has broken above this previous swing high, right? So now it's about holding there. Hopefully we can stay there and hold it, right? Or what do you think's going to happen here? Maybe we get, remember this, we have a 1, 2, maybe we get another 1, and now we start coming down. Maybe we come down for the next 2 weeks. We're going down, down, down for 2 weeks, or even 3 weeks, and it feels like a long time. It feels like, okay, the bear market's back, but it's only a 1, 2, 1, 2. There's your M shape. We get back down on the trend line, and what do? We say, see you later, and we go way up here, right back to this zone, and then we kind of flag out a little bit, and then continue. So that's what I'm thinking here with the price of AVAX. Maybe we hit the high again, but you guys hear me say that we want to flag out in here. Maybe we break out a little bit and then we flag out at a higher price, but whatever the case may be, that's sort of what we're looking for, right? So Atom looks like a dead coin. Not really. I'm just kidding. I don't know about we got 3 down, we got 3 up, and this looks like 5. You got an ABC, you got a 3-wave move there, and you're right back at your base. So this is the time where bulls should step up to the plate. API 3 looks like a 1-2, holding support. Let's go up higher, maybe get another 1-2. I don't know, kind of early to tell. And by the way, when you look at Amazon, right, Amazon is doing what a lot of coins, or what XRP is currently doing, right? So if you look at Amazon, Amazon made an all-time high back in 1999. It didn't break that high until 10 years later. Amazon took 10 years. And what did it do? We had a bull market. We had a bear market. We went all the way up into a retracement. And look at that, guys. This is, whoa, look at this. This is exactly what Bitcoin is doing right here. That's Bitcoin right there. Look at that. That's also the 2019 Bitcoin. Let me put a Bitcoin up here if I can. I don't know if it's going to work because I'm too far back. Yeah, so let's see. It's got to be right here. So if you look at that, that's sort of the flagging out we're seeing, right? We have a retracement, we flag out, and then if you look now, so if you look at this bull flag type of structure, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, and now let's go back to Amazon here for a second. So look at that. You can see that 3-wave move there, right? Kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of like an ABC. You got that 3-wave shape right there. And then we broke out. We back tested the bull market support band. We flagged out, and then we continued. So basically what this was a rise, crash, retrace, right? We went sideways, and then we went into reaccumulation. And then we broke out, we back tested, and then we went into expansion. And that took 10 years, and Amazon's one of the greatest companies in the world, right? For retail, online. Greatest company. And it took 10 years. So don't discount XRP. Oh, XR, it's taking 6 years, hasn't broken out, it's never going to do it. Well, just look at Amazon. It did the same thing, right? Again, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, go. So when we look at XRP, that's exactly what we see with XRP. Something very similar, right? Where we have a rise, crash, retrace, we go down into reaccumulation. So, looking good. So let me get rid of this. And then you can also make a little bit of an argument to say that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, sort of that M shape, right? Or more than that, sort of like a 1, you flag out, a 2, you flag out, right? So, but you guys know about my XRP analysis. If you want to go back and look at the previous videos, I'm not going to get too much into it because I've spent a lot of time on it. But let's zoom in and just do a little recap here. So we actually, if you look at this, it's a little, to me, it still looks very bullish. We could come down to the bull market support band. I'll talk about that in a second. But I mean, look at this. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You have a three-wave move down. You have a three-wave move up, and then you have this gorgeous, I mean, this is a beautiful three-wave move right there. You backtest the bull market support band, and now we're going, and then we pumped up into the retracement levels. Now we're right in the middle of the retracement, and that's always the tricky part. But look, if you look closely, what do you see? Right here, you can see, look at that. There's your 1, 2, 1, 2. See that? 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's what a lot of coins are doing right now on their big time frames. So we should expect maybe something big breaking out later on. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. But if we try to figure out what's happening now, I think it could be a fifth wave, right? So we have 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have this ABC pullback for wave 4, and then maybe this is a diag for wave 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe we get 5, something like that. I mean, that would be nice to see, right? We have another 1, 2, 1, 2 here that's playing out as well as the one down here. So that's one way we can look at it. Another way you can look at it is, let me put this base right here. We're sort of back testing, right? So we essentially, you know, if I just draw this trend line here, that's somewhere we could be heading to next. But we had resistance, we broke the resistance, and then we came all the way back down, and now we're back testing it, and we're building a base. So maybe this is a breakout back test, and then we can continue higher, at least for a retracement, and maybe that retracement can turn into something bigger. Or that's idea number one. Or the other idea is that this thing is finished and it needs to come down. So what we have here, guys, is 3 down, boom, and then we have 3 up, boom, and now maybe we get 3 back down, or 5, right? It could be 3 or 5. That's always the tricky part. So it could be a flat, right? It could be an expanded flat, a running flat, right? So we'll find out. So I don't know. I think this idea might be a little bit more likely, just because we've been going up a little bit and we kind of need a little bit of a pullback. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come up here and get a retracement back to 60 before going down, right? Because, you know, let's see. Do we have? Let me go to the 4-hour. Yeah, we have bearish divergence on the 4-hour, so you can see that. Right? High, higher high, high, lower high. So that kind of gives us a little indication. And then you can also say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then what do we need? We need an ABC pullback. We need a pullback, like get an ABC. Maybe we back test the bull market support band, build a little bit of a base, and then really accelerate to the upside. Because I really think this thing is on the verge of something big. Now, it's a big structure, so it takes time, right? So, I mean, you guys already know this. We have this monster 1-year-long 3-wave move. So A, B, C. And then we have an impulse off of the C wave. We came down, we back tested. Another impulse, another 3-wave pullback, right? A pop off the bull market support band. So we could come back and retest some of these areas down in here. So if I put up the retracement here up to the top, 53, 54 cents wouldn't be unheard of, but that would be sort of the final little area. Definitely don't want to go any lower than that. So that's kind of what we got here for XRP. One of the big things too I'm looking for is this downward resistance line. You could see we broke it a little bit and then we came back underneath. So what I'll do is I like to be more conservative. We'll just connect the wicks here. There we go. So there's your trend line. And then here's that's our supply line. And here is our demand line, right? So when a supply line, right? So this basically supply is when we get up here, people are supplying the market, right? And you have the demand line, obviously, right? So when the supply line meets the demand line, something breaks. There's some sort of break that occurs. And the apex of that is sort of that, maybe that first or second week of October. Got some time here to spend. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back a little bit. And then, like I said too, this could be a flat. So A, B, and then C. Some kind of flat pattern and then go. So, all right, let's look at Solana. I mean, Solana looks bearish. It just kind of looks... Sometimes it'll give me a bullish look to it, but it doesn't give me that flag approach, right? Especially because this broke the high here. So we could say A, this is a B, or W, X, Y, and then this is C. So A, B, C. And then we have a 1, we have a three-way pullback, and then a 1, 2, maybe we get 3, 4, and 5. I don't know. It's a little bit tricky. We're definitely at some resistance here, so let's wait and see about that one. QNT is the one you want to look for. Whoa, look at that. I just said QNT is the one, and look at that. We're breaking it. Man, I missed that one. That's a powerful move right there. That's a pretty big move there from this low. I mean, that's over 40% in a matter of a couple weeks. So, that's pretty big. And I really like this three-way move. So we have a 1, ABC, right? And then maybe another 1, 2 of the third wave. So if I zoom in on this, I really wish I would have paid more attention to QNT. That looks like a nice cup and handle right there. I mean, you could still have a little bit of room left on that, but I don't really like chasing stuff. Chasing stuff gets you in trouble, but I would say about an $80, $85 price target on it. And then from there, right, if this is a 1, 2, and then we pop the high 1, 2, look at that. We got that M shape again. Boom, 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 boom. Right? We break the high. The bull market support band coils around, and then we sort of flag out in here, and then we continue higher. So, yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Zcash, it kind of looks like a bear flag. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and break this low here. But if it's not, it's a little bit tricky. It could be a 1, 2, 1, 2 in here, but I'm going to need more evidence. I don't feel so great about it right now. If you look at it inversely, you can really see what I mean, right? We have this impulse to the upside, and now we're flagging out. So it kind of looks like it wants to break out, which is breaking down. Fetch, we already looked at Fetch. It's back above its bull market support band. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully, we get a correction soon. We're getting some bearish divergence here. It could be also bottlenecking too. So there's a few different ways it could happen. But I'm just going to keep moving things along here. ICP had a nice day. Look at that. Inverse head and shoulders. That's pretty strong. So that's a nice one there. So we came up, we had a shoulder, we had a head, and then we look at that three-way pullback. Nice. And then we had a 1-2. Now we're pumping here. So take that measured move, approximately gets us back above the bull market support band around 960. So another dollar. So from 860 to 960. So yeah, looks pretty good so far. Engine looks good. I like it. The reason why is I like this three-way move. I like this impulse. Maybe we get another ABC and then we pop the high here. So we got a 1, 2, 3, and then we have a 4, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks good. Total 3. I think we just looked at it earlier. It doesn't look as good. It looks more like Bitcoin. I guess you could say that's a flat. That's a three-way move. So I want to see some follow through. I want to see it completely break above. So I guess the last one we have CRV here. Now this could also turn into like a 1, 2, right? You have this three-way pullback, so maybe we hit the high, 1, 2, 1, 2, right, and then go. That's an idea. Want to see what happens here. ADA's got also look at that. It's got a nice looking move here. We got a 1, 2. We got a 3. Look at that beautiful three-way pullback. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe another push to the upside, and then we start to ABC and then go up later. That's kind of what I would want to see. Doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, right? So I haven't really got into the bearish scenarios too much, but if we kind of come up a little, we get rejected in here, we come down, we get rejected again, we come down, we get rejected here and here, then obviously we got to look at it differently, right? I mean, that's totally on the table. But I think it would, if that would be the case, because again, I'm only on the 1 hour chart. I want to see more of that. If this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, you kind of want it to get a little bit higher. So, but we'll jump into more of that stuff later this week. Just kind of skimming through here. Theta Fuel looking really good. We broke above. Like a lot of coins are right here. Like Theta and Theta Fuel and Fetch and maybe a few others. Very few of them have already broken their top. So those are the leaders, right? So just because they broke their top doesn't mean they can't go 1, 2, 1, 2. We got to come down here before going up, right? So we could see something like that. Yeah, we're still back testing the top here. I'm still looking for a retracement for Theta. It's building a base. It could take some time. But now let's look at Theta here. Well, first, real quick, XRP versus Bitcoin looks okay. Theta. Sequential. No sequential. What about on the 3-day? No, 2-day. Let's see. Yeah, so we're about to get a 9. We'll get a 9 tomorrow, right? I don't know if it's going to be a perfected 9, but a 9 nonetheless. So I don't know. I think we should be seeing at least a little bit of a pullback here for the broader market. So now my whole assessment, after looking at everything, kind of seems like some of them need to pop their high, but then others need to look like they need to consolidate a little bit and pull back, right? Because this could also be kind of like a 1-2, 1-2 in here as well, right? Where you have this 1, 2, we come up here 1, 2, right? That's how it kind of starts off. You break out and then you flag out and then you go. So that's kind of how I envision it happening. Something along those lines. And there's a few other different routes we can look at, but basically that's what I'm looking for here. So on the small time frames, I mean, we got 5 waves, so we're right back at resistance. We got a 4-hour 9 here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I wouldn't be surprised if we sort of flag out in here and then go higher later. Now we could hit the high, and I would really, really like that much more, because we would get away from this and then flag out, right? So yeah, time will tell. It'll be an interesting week. Let's look at the small time frames. Let's turn that off, get rid of that. Okay, so it's been doing these flats lately, so it'll have this expanded flat, and this looks like another expanded flat. And you can kind of see this little head and shoulders in here, and you kind of have that. This right here looks just like that, right? So actually, let me just take a bars pattern and just kind of overlay it real quick. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm just trying to look at the structure in here. Look at that. Almost identical. You know, we have this. So we have this, come down, come up, or yeah, we actually came up twice. So come up and then we come down, and you see a shoulder, head, shoulder, and then we break down, grab that liquidity. And if you look here, we have a shoulder, head, shoulder. So maybe we come down, we break that liquidity here, and then we go up higher. I mean, just a little bit of fractal analysis there for us. So Ethereum, I mean, still pumping up the jams. I mean, we're in an uptrend, so we have to respect that, right? We have to let it mature, and then we'll go from there. But anyways, that'll do it for this video. I know I said it was a short one, but it always ends up being a long one. But that's just the way it goes, right? Crypto is our future. Crypto is our golden ticket, and we got to take it very seriously, because it could change your life. And you know, if you like your current situation, then great. But I know for myself, my family, I want to improve. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and I think crypto is definitely the answer to future success and current success, right? Trading in and out, hodling, it takes time, it takes patience, but what else do you got to do? The time's gonna pass regardless, so you might as well make something out of it. Alright guys, that'll do. I appreciate everybody. If you can, hit that like, drop a comment, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.